Hey here, this is Kyle, and today's This is Killer Kyle, and welcome to Wheels of Fury. Yeah. And today we're going to talk about Bad Blood in 1997. The only Bad Blood pay-per-view in the In Your House series. Of course, we've talked about In Your House a lot lately, so it's fitting that we actually do this. And the only reason I thought about it was watching the Shawn Michaels, Glenn Jacobs WWE Network series.
Yeah, Untold.
Yeah.
They first did one talking about Team Hell No, Kane and Daniel Bryan. Then now they went into, of course, this particular night of the Hell in a Cell match between the Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. And of course the debut of Kane. And a little bit of backstory about Kane. Like, I'm sure you guys probably would have watched WWE in the mid-90s, and promo Paul Bearer cuts. Kane is alive, Undertaker. He's breathing just like everybody in this room. And those series of promos, Paul Bearer talking about Kane and he's alive and he's waited 20 years to look you in the eye and get redemption or whatever. The interesting thing about this particular Untold is the fact that the idea and the concept for Kane was Bruce Pritchard's idea.
Yeah.
They were doing there was a meeting, I guess, and a bunch of the creative people for WWE at that time, and Pritchard was like, what if the Undertaker had a brother? Nobody knew about this brother, nobody had seen this brother, nobody even heard about this brother, and then all these years later, find out the brother's alive and he wants to confront the Undertaker and so on and so forth. And I remember Glenn Jacobs saying that the original name for the character was Inferno.
Yeah.
And Glenn was like, well, this isn't really gonna go over well or whatever, and he was having a conversation with Mr. McMahon, and he's like, no, that is the first real instinct that I knew how much of a genius Vince is. Now, we shit on Vince quite regularly about WWE and creative and stupid decisions and all that other stuff, But there's no denying the fact that the man straight up is a genius.
Oh, I mean, and it's true to a certain extent. I mean, back in those days, yeah, I would say so. You know, because you look at this guy, and then you think, okay, who's this Kane? What's he gonna look like? How's he gonna destroy the Undertaker? Nobody knew, and it was a mystery. I think, and I didn't know this until years later, but you look at the Mean Gene Okerlund update series, and he's talking about Kane, the Undertaker.
Yes.
And it's like, it's another one of those what ifs. So it's, you know.
Yeah, what if it wasn't just the Undertaker? What if it was Kane, the Undertaker?
Yeah. So whatever happened, it changed to just the Undertaker. So when 97 rolled around, it was like, alright, let's think of something new. And, you know, they were fresh on the Attitude Era. So it was like, you know, a lot more adult content, a lot more violence.
Yes.
And you had someone like Glenn Jacobs, who was already Isaac Yankum and Fake Diesel. And so to see this guy coming in as this devil's favorite demon, you know.
Yeah.
And it was like very cool to see something new in WWE.
And Glenn Jacobs, he didn't even talk about like, yeah, it was Isaac Yankum and with Jerry Lawler, and then did this whole Fake Diesel thing. But after those two faded out, he's like, well, that's the end of my career. I'm not going to have anything else to do in WWE. I'm just might as well go to the Indies or figure out something else to do. And then Bruce Pritchard came up with the idea for his character of Undertaker having a brother and all this other stuff. And like I said, the original name for the character was going to be Inferno.
Right.
Still have the red and black outfit and a cape but no mask. And then Glenn had a conversation with Mr. McMahon, and Mr. McMahon was like, well, he's gonna have scars emotionally from their funeral home burning down, and physical scars from funeral home being set on fire. So what if we give him a mask and just go from there? And they build up, and it leads into this particular evening. And the interesting thing that was also mentioned is Glenn Jacobs is originally from a small town about 2 hours north of St. Louis, Missouri, which is where Bad Blood took place on this particular evening.
For sure.
And he was talking about, I was visiting family, visiting my parents, and a buddy of mine just happened to be going to the show, and I asked him for a ride, and we're on our way to the arena, and there's smoke coming out of the steering wheel, and I pulled over, and of course, Glenn's all frustrated, like, I'm going to be late, and my debut as this new character, and I'm going to be late for the show, and I'm going to be in trouble, or whatever. And then this guy, his buddy, called somebody that he knew that was also going to the show, and they got a ride, and ended up still early for the show, which is great, because I guess it left this guy's house, or whatever, his parents, was so early that they were able to get to the show early, and then you could get ready and whatever. But yeah, like, I think for a lot of years, people would credit Paul Bearer for Kane, which in a way is true. Like, he's the one that, hyped it up and talked about it and really built the backstory to this and all this other stuff. But the original idea for Kane is Bruce Pritchard's.
Yes.
So credit to Bruce Prichard for Kane, and for Kane lasting 20 plus years as this character is a testament to, one, how over it was,
Yeah.
two, how good of a performer Glenn Jacobs is, and three, just the longevity he went. I mean, basically, April of 97 till at least last year.
Yeah.
And, of course, we all know now that Glenn Jacobs is the mayor of Knox County, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, you know.
Yeah. And I mean, and I just thought about this now. Kind of blows me away. Next year, and around this time, Undertaker will be around for 30 years.
Yeah.
That's crazy, you know.
It'll be Survivor Series next year.
Mm-hmm.
Undertaker will have been in WWE for 30 years.
Fuck. That's crazy. Alright, so we've got a pretty interesting start. You've got the Legion of Doom versus the Nation.
Yeah.
D'Lo Brown, Kama Mustafa, and Rocky Maivia.
Yep.
Or as Stan Hansen would say, Rocky Maiva.
Yeah.
And yeah, this was a good match. And you know this, you look at too, the Road Warriors have been around since the early 80s.
Oh, yeah.
And they could still whip your ass at this time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, they held no punches, man.
Oh, yeah. The Nation of Domination and the Road Warriors, the Legion of Doom, had actually a pretty good rivalry at this period of time. Now, of course, this was a handicap match, and I can't remember exactly when it was, but at some point a little later down the road, Ahmed Johnson would pair with Hawk and Animal, and their feud with the Nation would intensify. It was actually very, very good.
Oh, I can imagine. That match was good. And I think that the chemistry between those two, you know, I think the Nation had a pretty good feud with just about anybody.
Pretty much.
DX, the Hart Foundation, yeah, the Headbangers probably, and the Legion of Doom.
Probably the Godwins.
And the Godwins too, like, they fucking had a really good chemistry, and of course you would have D'Lo Brown and Mark Henry be a take team for a while, you know, and then you have obviously The Rock.
Yes.
And then the Godfather would break out on his own.
Right, yes.
So that was pretty cool, and you know, just to see this match and to see what they brought to the table, it was still a very hard-hitting match. You know, Kama and the Road Warriors definitely threw stiff hands.
Oh, yeah.
It's fucked up, dude. Anyways.
Big time.
Yeah.
The Nation ended up getting the win on this one.
Yeah.
And I believe it was either WrestleMania 97 or 98. I think it was 97. There was that street fight or whatever with Legion of Doom and Ahmed Johnson against the Nation.
Yeah, I think so, actually. I think it was 97.
Yeah, that was quite the match in and of itself. So next we go on to a tag team match with Matt Kenny and Nova against Mosaic and Dracula.
Don't know too much about this match.
Yeah.
I think it was a midget tag team match.
Yeah.
So obviously, I mean, and that was the thing too back then. And just like in CMLL, you had a lot of miniature wrestlers who were like carbon copies of, I guess, normal sized wrestlers. I don't fucking know. So this match, I know nothing about. I may or may not have seen it or heard about it, but these guys didn't really last very long in WWF anyways.
Yeah, I know.
So
Maximini and Nova got the win on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we go on to the Godwins. The latest versus, and I think Christopher Walken must have been doing the editing for this, because it was the Headbangers, not the Headbangers like it should have been.
Yeah.
That was a bad impression. Anyways.
Foul!
Yeah, that's what's cool. And you know, I think that the Godwins definitely, at that time, one of the best gimmick take teams there were. I mean, I know they tried to be more like what Hillbilly Jim was in the 80s.
Yeah.
So, that was pretty cool. And then, of course, you got the Headbangers.
Yeah. The Godwins, Henry and Phineas, very good tag team, very, very good together. They're very, very over. And of course, it was a little while later, Henry would go on his own, and of course Phineas became Midian and member of the ministry, and so on and so forth. And the Headbangers, there was this song about those guys everybody loved.
They had charisma,
they had charisma, they had personality,
yeah.
They had an interesting character, they were actually really good on the microphone.
Multiple-time tag team championship.
Yeah.
You know. And it was like, you know, I don't know if it's overlooked, but their feud with New Age Outlaws.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
You know, that was cool. They came to the ring once and they dressed up as the New Age Outlaws. And making fun of them and shit. And then, you know, that was pretty cool. And it was like, yeah. So they had a really good run in the WWF. Of course, they came back a few years ago, 2016.
Yeah.
On SmackDown for a while. And then, of course, they were in Ring of Honor. They did a few other promotions. And so, yeah, it would have been cool if they came back and did another run. But as of right now, I'm not sure what they're doing.
Yeah.
I know that Chris Van Fleet did an interview with him a while ago. So it's pretty cool to see, you know, what the future holds for these two guys.
Oh, absolutely. And this was a tag championship match, and the Godwins won, so they became, I believe, the new tag champions. And this rivalry was actually fairly good. I don't really think it lasted too long, but still really, really good.
No, I agree with that.
Next we go on to a match for the vacant Intercontinental Championship. You got the King of Hearts, Owen Hart, and I guess Farouk.
Mm-hmm.
And this was talk about the rivalry with the Nation and the Road Warriors. Well, at this period of time, it was kind of like, I don't know if it was intentional or unintentional, but like, you had the Road Warriors, the Nation, the Hart Foundation, and then also a little bit later DX. I think the Road Warriors were kind of left out of it, but it was like the Nation, the Hart Foundation, and DX were kind of all intermingled in a three-way rivalry, kind of. But even, you know, just the Legion of Doom, the Nation, and the Hart Foundation. I think the Nation and the Legion were more in a rivalry than the Nation and the Hart Foundation.
Yeah.
But I think this may have been the start of something coming between the Nation and the Foundation without the Legion. And yeah, this match actually seemed pretty well done. Of course, there was at one point Farouk and Owen Hart in the ring in a match. You had Austin as like guest timekeeper or whatever.
Yeah.
And you had Anvil come out. It looked like he was going to maybe try and help Owen, but it ended up being Austin got involved, and I think he hit Farouk over the head with the championship or something, and Owen got the win. And yeah.
You know, if you saw my review for, I think it was King of the Ring, I'm not quite sure. And I know that I cut a rant, and I fucking said that Ron Simmons should have had the Intercontinental Championship at some point. It wouldn't have killed the product. It wouldn't have killed his career. Give the guy the fucking title. You know, you had this opportunity for the vacant Intercontinental title. You've got Owen Hart and you've got fucking Farouk for the Intercontinental title. It was vacant and you could have had Farouk go over, but we have to have Owen go over. Why? Because I don't fucking know. Owen Hart had every opportunity. He had every Intercontinental title run. You know, it was nothing against him, but the fact of the matter is, this was after the fucking thing with Austin and SummerSlam, and this was one of the things that should have went to Farouk. Farouk could have had the Intercontinental title. Farouk could have had challenged The Rock or somebody or whoever the fuck. But no, we have to have Owen Hart win the title again, and hey, you know what? It is what it is. But it pisses me off that you have a guy like Ron Simmons coming into the WWE and only getting tag team titles. And that's it. And you know, it's too bad because Ron Simmons is a great wrestler. And you know, Owen Hart was a great wrestler. It wouldn't have killed you to put the Intercontinental title on Ron Simmons at least once. At least once! You know, but that's just the way you want, you know. You can't go back in history. Owen won. And then you have someone like Anvil, who came back and basically was the manager of Owen Hart. I don't remember a goddamn match he was in. It was just, again, lost opportunity, but that's just it. That's just the way it was. It's too bad. I mean, whatever went after that, I don't know.
The thing that I've been trying to rack my brain about is I'm not entirely sure why the Intercontinental Championship was vacant at this point. I don't know. I don't even remember who was the champion before this went down.
Well, this was before SummerSlam.
Right.
Because this was the infamous Austin broke his neck because of the botched pile driver. So they did have a match. Austin won the Intercontinental title. Then he gave it to The Rock. And from there, I'm not sure. So I'm trying to think if he was injured and vacated the title. But he was obviously at Bad Blood.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure either. That is kind of a mystery. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, so there it is.
So now we go to an 8-man tag match with the DLA. You got 8 Ball, Chains, Crush, and Skull against Los Barriquas.
See.
And you know who those guys are. Well, Savio Vega and his crew of guys.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, DOA definitely, you know, it's kind of like, and I just thought of this now, Aces and Eights done right.
Essentially, yeah.
You know, these guys were original, and yeah, basically that's it. I mean, you got Brian Adams, who came back, reinvented himself with the team. You know, he was still Crush, but he looked a lot different.
Oh, yeah.
Ever. And then, of course, you got the Twins, and it's like,
Yeah.
that was a really good tag team, and they had some good feuds themselves. Los Barriquas, I'm not even I mean, we all know Savio Vega.
Yeah.
I just don't know a lot of their matches. Or I can't even remember.
Yeah, they wrestled a fair bit in the WWF, but Savio Vega was the more over wrestler of that grouping than Miguel Perez and Jose Estrada Jr. and Jesus Castillo Jr.
Yeah.
Miguel Perez Jr. A lot of juniors.
Yeah, Castillo Jr. I can probably think I've seen before, but other than that, I don't remember these guys.
One thing I remember about this team, I think it was Miguel. That holy fuck was he hairy as hell.
Yeah.
Looked like he fucking grizzly bear. Jesus.
Like I said, I wish I knew a lot more of their matches. I do remember Los Dracula's theme music,
Yes.
and so that's just, pretty cool. I mean, I gotta look back and see the matches that they have done,
Yeah.
but this was a good match as well. Like I said before, I don't know the Truth Commission
Right. Yes.
as much either, so yeah, there you go.
It's interesting how you mentioned that the Disciples of Apocalypse were aces and eights done right.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially there were aces and eights done right, but you could say a twist to that was the fact that they rode motorcycles to the ring. Kind of like...
That made it unique, yeah.
Yeah, that made it unique. Of course, this was a few years before American Badass Undertaker,
Yeah.
but I mean... Yeah.
Yeah, I actually forgot about that too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, and that was original at the time. You had these guys coming into the ring on Harleys, and
Yeah.
it was pretty fucking amazing just to see a unique entrance at the time of a tag team,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it would have been done years later with American Badass Undertaker, and then, Triple H's WrestleMania entrance.
Yes.
But yeah, this was pretty cool for its time.
I remember one video we did a while ago, and the Disciples of Apocalypse were mentioned in there, and I had said that when they were a group and they had matches and the whole motorcycle entrance and everything, they looked like a biker gang. Riding into the ring on motorcycles, the leather vest with like the Disciples of Apocalypse on the back, the cut, if you will.
Yeah.
And yeah. And I think at one point we were unsure whether or not Crush actually was a member of...
I think you weren't sure. I knew that he was a part of that team.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he got crushed. This guy, Demolition, he's on his own as Crush. Then you got Kabuki Crush.
Hmm.
And then you have this Crush. And then, of course, he goes over to WCW and joins Adam, or the other Brian, I guess.
Yeah, Adam Bomb.
Adam Bomb. And so, and it's unfortunate that he's no longer with us because I thought he was a hell of a wrestler.
Oh, absolutely. For a guy his size?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was the original Crush, if you will, with like the orange and purple outfit.
Yeah.
And then there was the Crush that had like the black and silver triangles. And then there was the Crush with Demolition. And then, of course, this version of the Crush. And then, of course, him and Brian Clark?
Yeah,
No,
Brian Clark.
Brian Clark as Chronic.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, they were good together. Anyways, the DOA got the win on this one.
Shaka, brother.
Sucker. And then got a flag match
Oh, yeah.
with Bret Hart and the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith, against the Patriot and Big Van Vader.
Yeah, this was an interesting time because, and we talked about this a lot too, the United States of America versus Canada. It was
Oh, yeah.
the North America war, if you will. And
Yeah.
it's like, you know, when you look at this match, you got Bret Hart and the British Bulldog teaming together, and it's, you know, I guess it would make sense to have the Canadian flag and the Union Jack in one corner and then the American flag on the other corner.
But they only have the Canadian flag.
Yeah, so that's fine too. But how many fucking flag matches did they have?
Oh, quite a lot.
Because there's one match that I know you can remember as well with the Hart Foundation and fucking Austin, Undertaker, and Dude Love.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, this was a good match too. I really think that seeing the Hitman and the Bulldog team together was pretty cool. And they obviously had good matches against each other. And,
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, this was pretty cool. So, Bret Hart and Davey Boy Smith won the match.
Yes.
And it was a good match, though. And I do remember the Patriot. I think that a little bit underrated as a wrestler of his time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I'm not quite sure what else he's done.
Like, Bret Hart, British Bulldog, and Vader. Everybody knows them. Everybody remembers them. You know, WWE, WCW, so on and so forth. The Patriot, though, aside from his run in for a little while in the WWF,
Yeah.
and maybe Memphis, I think, don't really know much else about the Patriot
No.
and his career.
Unfortunately, no. And then, of course, there's Big Van Vader,
Yes.
obviously. And I've talked about him, too.
Yes.
And ranted about him, too. But
Yep.
despite all that, you know, he definitely did what he could with the shit that he was given, I guess. So, I mean, whether or not this was a good match, and he saw a few Vader splashes, too.
Yes.
So, I mean, yeah, I don't know too much about the Patriot. I've seen a few of his matches. I think he even had Kurt Angle's music at one point.
Yes.
So, yeah, the only thing I remember, and I didn't watch wrestling, I started like right after Bret left, but
Yeah.
I've only seen a few of his matches. And you know, me being a Bret fan, my brother would always tell me when his matches came on. But the match between Bret and the Patriot, where Bret's like, you better stand in the national anthem
Canadian
for
national
Canada."
anthem. Yeah.
And then, of course, the Patriot came out and he wanted the American national anthem.
Yeah.
And so, you know, while that's playing, Bret, you know, he blindsides the Patriot. There it is.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so this was a good match. It was a really good feud. And, I mean, with the way that the times have changed, I don't think you can get another American-Canadian feud going. I mean, TNA kind of did that with Team Canada and Team USA, and I think there was other country teams as well. So they did a good job with that.
Yes.
But with the way the WWE is now, I don't think they can pull that off.
True.
So,
When we were watching the highlights of this match, there's one thing that really grinded my gears. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but the purpose of the flag match is to have the flags at opposite corners of the ring. You know, American flag, Canadian flag, American flag, Russia flag, whatever. You win the match by going to the corner, getting your flag, right?
you got it.
So, this match, Bret Hart, British Bulldog, Patriot, Vader, great match. Bret rolls up friggin', I think it was the Patriot, for the win. If it was just going to be a regular match, what the hell's the point of having flags? It's a flag match. You can't just fucking make up rules as you go along. You're supposed to grab your own flag to win the match. What the hell is there a pin doing in there? Like, what the fuck? Seriously. It defeats the point of calling it a flag match if you're gonna not instill that rule or use that rule. If you're just going to have a regular tag match, leave the flags out of it. If you're going to have it a flag match, the idea of the flag match is to grab your own flag. Why is there a pin in this match? I don't get it. Not taking anything away from the match. The match seemed great. The match looked great, and I'm sure it was. But you're defeating the purpose of a flag match by getting a pin. It makes no sense.
Oh, I know. And that's bullshit, I think. That something happened in fucking backstage in Gorilla or wherever, then the broadcast booth, they should have fucking made it clear.
Yeah.
They should have fucking made it clear. You need to grab the pole, or grab the
Flag to win the match.
yes. So, something along the way, someone got their lines crossed.
Apparently, and it's basically like you have the flags there just for show. It's a
Yeah.
prop.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's like, yay.
Yeah. No, I get it. Fuck.
Anyway.
So, man, we got the piece de resistance. We got the first ever Out in the Sun.
Yes.
I thought this was awesome.
Oh, it was fantastic.
I mean, when I first heard of the concept, I was, 12? And I thought, holy shit, like, this is cool. Like, a new structure besides a steel cage match.
Yeah.
And this did actually delivered.
Yes.
So, I mean, you have Undertaker being told that Kane's alive and, he's gonna be here and you don't know what's going on. You've got Shawn Michaels, the European champion. DX just formed with Triple H in China.
Mm-hmm.
And Rick Rude was there too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this was a good match. I mean, you had, they used the cell to their advantage.
Mm-hmm.
You had fucking Taker throwing Shawn Michaels into the cage on the outside many times.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels cutting himself open and making himself bleed. I mean, he bled naturally. So, this was a good match.
Oh, yeah. The one thing that was talked about on the Untold was, it was basically like, I guess they told Shawn to take an ass whooping from Taker inside the cell, and boy, did Shawn ever take an ass whooping on this night, boy.
Oh, I enjoyed it for sure.
And yeah, Shawn made comment about he had a knack for being able to bleed a lot, and oh yeah, he could bleed.
Yeah.
He could bleed.
Anybody that can bleed more than Ric Flair.
It's
Jesus,
Shawn.
yeah.
I mean, you take the terminology, bleeding like a stuck pig to a whole new level.
Yeah.
My goodness.
So, Undertaker, they're in the ring. He's about to go home. He does this. And just in an instant, the lights go out. And you hear the music.
The ominous music, and then you see Kane with Paul Bear. There's the pyro explosion, makes his way to the ring and pushes somebody out of the way, the cameraman or whatever. Goes over the door, rips it off his hinges, of course he's still chained or whatever. Makes his way into the ring, face to face with the Undertaker, drops his arms, flames come out of the corner post, lights come up. Undertaker turns away, turns back, tombstone, walks off. Shawn comes over, drapes the arm, 1, 2, 3, match is done.
That was the first time in my life, and I think, I know, everybody else's life, that you saw the Undertaker act like
Scared.
a normal, scared.
And
Human
even
being.
like, you know, you have Shawn and Glenn Jacobs or Kane kind of in person in front of camera talking about this match. They had Undertaker over the phone.
Yeah.
And
that's
he was
how-
like, you know, I don't really have any acting experience whatsoever. I don't, or very little at least, whatever. But I had to convey the story without using words. And he's like, in his mind, replaying, you know, going over the story that had been told over the last month, let's say, in his mind, you know. The funeral home being burned and Kane being burned alive and then finding out his brother's alive and he's face to face with them now, and just like the shock and the surprise and like, oh my god, this is my brother standing in front of me, he's not dead, he's alive. You know, then the tombstone and the way the match ends. And the Kane had talked about when he was making his way out to the ring with Paul. He was like, that was the first time I had ever heard Kane's music.
Yeah.
They didn't really go over with him, hey, this is what your character's going to be, so this is how your music is going to sound or whatever. It was just basically the lights drop, music starts playing, he has to walk out. And as he's walking to the ring, you know, he can hear the music, and, you know, it's this ominous, eerie music which they had used for a number of years, and it was very, very good. And Bruce Pritchard was like, Kane is one strong son of a bitch. And, you know, people were talking about, oh, it was a gimmick door, and it was easy for him to rip off the hinges and whatever. It was like, yeah, that's probably true, but it's still a heavy fucking door.
Yeah.
So, for him to rip it off the hinges and, you know, pull it, you know, set it aside and then walk in the cell, it's like, yeah, he's strong. Then, of course, you get the infamous and probably most famous call from Vince, that's gotta be Kane! And he was saying that he didn't hear the call made by Vince, he probably heard it later or whatever. That solidified the storyline
Yeah.
for leading up into Bad Blood 97. Paul Bearer telling Undertaker, your brother's alive, he's breathing just like everybody in this room. And then just building it up, building it up, building it up. And then you have this brief period of time where they just focused on Undertaker and Shawn Michaels and just kind of put the Kane thing on the side, on the back burner, if you will. So then, when the timing was right and Kane made his debut, and having that call from Vince is like, oh my god, Paul Bearer was right, Kane is alive, Kane's real, this is an actual legitimate person, and getting into the ring and face to face with the Undertaker, and, you know, the Undertaker talked about, he had to relay the story in his mind to be able to convey the emotion in his face of like, my god, that's my brother, I haven't seen him in 20 years, he's alive, and all this other stuff. Very, very cool.
Oh, I know. And I mean, that's the thing, you know, and this isn't the first time that Mark Calaway and Glenn Jacobs were in the ring together.
Oh,
because
no.
you've had Isaac Yankem and The Undertaker. You may have had Fake Diesel.
I
versus
believe,
The Undertaker.
yeah, the Undertaker and Fake Diesel had a encounter with each other.
But to have a character go as long as Kane,
Oh, yeah.
back in the day, you know, it's like, okay, so they're gonna have a couple matches, and then Undertaker's gonna beat Kane, and then that's it. But it just came on and on and on. And yeah, so he tombstones Undertaker, and then Shawn Michaels crawls over, makes the pin, wins the match.
Yeah.
So that's basically Bad Blood.
Mm-hmm.
But you look at the thing with, you know, yeah, Shawn Michaels' career, you all know about it, whatever. With Kane, you have him be the Big Red Machine, and then, you know, from there, it's like, okay, so it goes from that to a different color costume, like the colors were first, black and red. And then you have him coming out in 2001 in the muscle see-through shirt,
Yeah.
which I thought at the time was pretty cool. Now that I think about it, it's like,
Yeah.
the moment that Kurt Angle beat Kane at WrestleMania 18, I thought, that's it. Why call him the Big Red Machine now when A, he's immortal, and B, he can have people beat him now? Because the whole point of Kane was he's going to be this big, badass monster, and he's going to run through everybody, and he's going to not be from this world. The moment you had him show skin and talk normally, that was it. That was a done deal. You should have never went that way. Yes, wrestlers, characters evolve through fucking time. But it's just like when The Undertaker went from being the fucking Undertaker to American Badass. It was nobody gave a fucking shit. And yet people see Kane and they go, well, Kane's Kane. He's fine. No, I don't think so. Kane, as soon as Kane became a normal, regular fucking human being, whatever, why call him the Big Red Monster now? Why do that now? And then you had him unmasked. And then, you know, when he first debuted with that, you had the sheet over his head and the shackles, and that was cool. But we have to make him normal. Yeah, you know, he does this thing still, and the fire comes out, and all that bullshit, but nope, he's still fucking normal. You could have said, you know, and I mentioned the same thing with Oscar. Once you beat Oscar, that's it. Now, at least she's got missed. Okay. That's new. But other than that, they're just regular wrestlers. There is nothing special once you take that one thing away from them. And maybe that's just me. I don't know.
So there it is, Bad Blood 97. A hell of a night, a hell of a show. The Hell in a Cell match was amazing.
Yeah.
And of course, it brought forth the debut of Kane.
Oh god, yeah. So, this was a good show. Yeah, you just said that. It's great to look back in memory lane.
Definitely.
So, yeah, for me and Matt, we got Killer Kyle, and we will talk to you next time. Deuces.
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci.